Darkness cannot hurt you when you understand its roots. Light cannot heal you when you are not receptive to its flow. Today, witness darkness, witness light, witness anger, witness compassion, witness chaos, witness calmness. Witness it all, my friend. It's through witnessing the judgments drop. When judgments drop, the blooming happens. I am Chandresh Bhardwaj, and this is Break the Norms. Namaste everyone, I hope you're doing well. Before we begin today's topic, a quick reminder to go to leelagurukul.com and make sure you sign up. Because when you sign up, you get all the information, updates and announcements on the free workshops, the new courses and all the new offerings at Leela. And now, getting on to today's topic. I want to share something that I often say and feel and try to integrate in how I love. I always say, don't love the flower if you're not ready to love its roots. And I want to live by, its complete principle. And I genuinely mean it. I don't want to love the flower if I'm not ready to love its roots. What does it mean? It means the flower could look all beautiful, glamorous, and the most amazing flower in the garden. But the roots, they may not look that glossy, that perfect. The roots are going to be deeply sink into the darkness, in the soil, dirty, messy, not attractive. But if I want to love the flower, I first want to love the roots, because I think there's no other way to love. And this is something I request each one of you listening. When you love, don't love the flower. Start with loving the roots and then love the flower. And this applies to you and the people you love. But first it applies to you. All the spiritual teachings, all the mantras, all the life lessons that we share here, they first apply to you and then they apply to others. And the reason I'm mentioning this, because today's podcast is all about honoring the roots, loving the roots. I want you to pay attention to your body posture. When you sit, walk, or talk to someone, how does your belly fit into the posture? I know we are always told to keep the shoulders, completely firm, the head high, the chin high, and, maintain a friendly, loving posture, right? But where's belly, the tummy in all of this? Is the tummy tight? Do you keep your belly, tight? Do you hold the breath when you talk to someone? I know many people, especially men, who keep the belly very tight. They, hold the breath and they don't release the breath. They don't, relax the navel, the belly, and they keep it very tight. Unless, when they are home or no one is around. And I know that applies to a lot of women as well. Why we do that? I remember when I was in high school, I remember wearing shirts and pants in school and making sure that it's just perfect posture. The belly is always in and no one would keep the belly relaxed enough that it's a little bit out. Then, Wall Street happened, college happened. Now I'm in LA and New York, where I again see this happening. But in certain cultures, that's not the case. If you go to certain interior areas of, I don't know, Mexico, India, Switzerland, you'll see men and women, they relax the belly. I noticed that in little towns of Switzerland, then in India, then also in Peru, and few other places. But yeah, I mean, you get the point. People who were connected to the mountains, to the nature, they were just in a very relaxed posture. But the people in city, their posture was very tight. And when you get to know someone closely, you realize that the tight tummy is just for public. When they are not in public, they relax, right? They breathe normally. Why do we do that? Because we are told to breathe through the chest, not through the stomach. It's like unsaid agreement we sign with the city life, with the modern life, that the chest has to be tight and, big, but the belly has to be small and all in. And this is why there's so much significance given to the beauty of chest, and nothing is pretty much discussed about navel or tummy. And whatever is discussed, it's all about shrinking it, making it small as possible. I remember writing this poetry long time ago. I forgot the whole poem, but there were these 3 words there: her snake-like waist. When I wrote it, I described the beauty of a woman's waist, and I called it her snake-like waist. And a few months later, I stopped being proud of that poetry. I, fully own what I have said and written and spoken out there. And when I was not proud of it, my mind said delete it, because now you understand the importance of navel, and it should not be snake-like. It could be anything that it has to be. But I didn't delete it, because I was like, this is a good reminder. This will always be a good reminder for me to not objectify or put this pressure through the poetry that the waist has to be snake-like. And it's still somewhere there on my Instagram, I think. The reason I'm sharing it, because I want to fully accept that I'm also part of that crowd, and I was also told to keep all the force on the chest and keep the tummy, the stomach very tight, and not even 1 inch of it should be out. But the more you meditate, the more you learn about life energies, you start to realize that you have been torturing your life energy center, which is the navel center. You realize that you have been consciously, unconsciously hurting, damaging, and torturing the most important life source in your body. Because when you were conceived in your mother's womb, it was through the navel you were getting all the life, all the support. And when you are born, it's again the navel that continues to have the sensitivity, the support, the power. But we forget about it, and our attention goes to either heart or the head. And the people who are too much on the head, they find it very tough to express themselves. They find it very tough to analyze what really life is, because they are constantly analyzing the calculations, the competition, the aggression that builds up. And those who are on the heart, they're constantly being over emotional, attached in the experience of love and life. So attachments and over emotional reactions happen when we are not aligned with our heart. And no one goes to the navel. In fact, when you read the spiritual text or listen to the podcast or attend the workshops, webinars, no one talks about the navel. It's always about heart chakra. No one is talking about navel chakra. And I feel it's one of the many major problems in the world of spiritual healing out there. It's focusing on certain things which are not even that relevant and forgetting the whole root of it. In today's episode, I want to remind each one of you that the navel center is your life energy center. It's the most important center to cultivate creativity, fearlessness, courage, and your sensuality and connection to the higher consciousness. And while I'm mentioning the word sensuality, let me also take a quick moment to define that. Sensuality has nothing to do with sexual energy. Sensuality is when you become fully open and accepting to all the senses of life, the touch, the smell, how you eat, how you breathe, how you see, how you hear. When you listen attentively, when you see with compassion, when you smell deeply, when you touch with complete awareness, that's sensuality. It's so sad that sensuality is reduced to just the momentary pleasure of the physical energy, and the depth of it is completely forgotten. The more you connect to navel center, the more sensual you become, the more childlike, the more playful you become. We abuse the navel center by eating wrong, by not honoring its expression, and by always keeping it tight. I recommend that bring back the fashion where you can relax the navel, you can relax the belly. It doesn't have to be super tight all the time. There's a reason why the monks and even certain spiritual schools recommended to wear the loose clothes. It was because the navel has to be relaxed. If you wear too tight clothes, you cannot relax the navel. So from today onward, make sure whatever you do, the navel energy is relaxed. It's the most important energy that needs attention and care. So any heavy food, alcohol, high intense foods like meat, spicy food, sugar, they all affect the navel center. So eating mindfully and making sure if there's any fear, suppression to be addressed, you do that, you address that. Making sure that you honor the intentions that you plant, which means not constantly changing the intentions. You can evolve them, but when you keep changing your plans, keep changing the intentions, when you keep changing your locations, the navel energy is affected. It likes to be rooted. It likes to be in one place so that it can grow and evolve from there. So when you're constantly moving, it again gets affected. So do not stress out your navel. Move from your head and heart to the navel. First move from head to heart and then from heart to the navel. And make sure that you constantly bring awareness there. Some people have always asked me, why do you always bring courage as one of the important elements in your meditation? Because I have gone through the struggle, the challenge of not honoring the navel. And I know when you don't honor the navel, you lack courage. But when you start honoring the navel, the first thing that happens is the fearlessness, the courage that just opens up. This is why I keep recommending, keep courage as one of the important elements of your intention and your life, so that it supports the expansion of your navel center. So do all things that you can to honor the navel. One of them is doing the pranayamas, the yogic breathings in the morning, gentle, mindful breathing, that helps. Eating mindfully, that helps. When you meditate, keep your fingers next to the navel, just honoring it, gently giving it the trust, the affection, the love that it deserves. But also using some sensitive, soft oils around the navel. Not surrendering to the fear and self-doubt that definitely damages the navel center. Little things, but the mystery of navel center is so crazy that when you start honoring it, a new universe opens up where your creativity, courage, fearlessness, it leads the show. And trust me, when you start honoring the navel, you will not go back anywhere. And those who are starting the meditation journey, I would say stick to navel center. And for next few years, do not even move to other chakras. Just stick around the navel. 2 inches below the navel is very powerful energy. If you just stay there, navel and 2 inches below the navel, that will do all the trick, okay? Let me know when you start experimenting, and I'm excited and curious to see how the strength of your navel expands and opens up, and we'll continue this in the Leela Gurukul, where I do plan to have specific meditations and mantras to just bring healing and strength on the navel center. That's all for today. Speak to you soon. I hope this podcast may travel through the untapped universe of your darkness, light, courage, passion, and so much more. Please do subscribe and be ready to break your norms. I am so excited and very honored to be part of your sacred journey through this podcast.